Hello. I'm going to talk about Yellowjackets a bunch today because it's my favorite show, and the third season is coming out this year on February 14th. And so this Valentine's Day, I'm going to be spending it with a bunch of teenage girls. That's not what I'm going to be watching Yellowjackets this Valentine's Day. It's my favorite show, and I am extremely excited for season 3. And I just recently rewatched season 1 on Netflix, and I thought, wow, what an amazing show. I can't wait for season 3. I should rewatch the trailer. And then I rewatched it, and I had a lot of thoughts about it, so I decided, why not pull out the camera and talk to you guys? And you have no choice because this is my channel and I can do what I want. So I'm going to talk about the trailer. I'm going to talk about the trailer. Let's get right into it.
Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. Once upon a time, a bunch of teenage girls got stranded in the wilderness and they went completely nuts.
The first big thing I want to talk about in this trailer is about, 7 seconds in? The first 5 seconds is just kind of shots of the wilderness and the adults existing. The really important part, I think, is about 7 seconds in, when we see a bunch of girls running through the woods, and then it cuts to Mari in a disgusting dress, running frantically through the woods, which is very reminiscent to the scene that opened the pilot, the infamous Pit Girl scene, where we see a girl with dark hair running through the woods and then falling into a trap and getting killed. This scene in the trailer is obviously different from the Pit Girl scene. The Pit Girl scene takes place in winter, her hair is down instead of in a braid, and she's wearing a different dress. But I think the fact that Mari is mirroring the Pit Girl scene in this trailer feels important. Sorry to all the Mari fans out there, but ever since season 1, I have been on the train that Mari is Pit Girl. I was so convinced, but this actually changed my mind. Even though that she is mirroring the Pit Girl scene, I don't think that they would show someone running through the woods exactly like Pit Girl and spoil it immediately. I don't think they would do that this quickly. I think Pit Girl is going to be a bigger mystery, more of a shock, and revealing that Mari is Pit Girl in season 3 out of what the showrunners want to be possibly 5 seasons feels a bit too early. So this scene of Mari running through the forest makes me think of 2 things. 1, it changes my theory for who Pit Girl actually is. And number 2, it makes me think that there's a lot more going on with Mari than I initially thought. So let's start with the Pit Girl thing. I currently have no idea who it could be. Truly, no idea. I was so on the Mari train, and now because of this, I genuinely have no idea who it could be. I've seen somewhere on the internet, I do not remember where. If anyone knows who came up with this, please tell me, because I've fully forgotten. But I know I saw somewhere on the internet, people came up with a theory that Pit Girl, the scene actually takes place in the 2021 timeline, and Pit Girl is not one of the Yellowjackets, but it's Callie Sadecki, aka Shauna's daughter, which is extremely interesting. Obviously, in the actual scene, it cuts from Pit Girl running in the forest to the Antler Queen and all the Yellowjackets surrounding her, eating some kind of meat over a fire, and then Misty, reveals her face. Okay, so as I was editing, I decided to, Google Callie Pit Girl theory to see, where the original idea actually came from, so I could, credit that person. And the very first thing that came up is a Reddit post, which is, a screenshot from an interview that the showrunners did, and they verbatim said Callie is not Pit Girl. So, I didn't know that at the time when I was recording, but, I want to keep this section in because I feel like even though the context that I'm saying things in is wrong, it's under the Callie Pit Girl theory, I still think I made some interesting points and there's a lot of interesting ideas to think about, and I think they were well said, so I'm going to keep the section in. but just know that everything I'm saying is built on a throne of lies. So, I don't know, maybe Pit Girl isn't a yellow jacket, maybe it is Callie. And Callie being the one to run through the forest and being killed by the Yellowjackets adds to, I think, the dynamic between Callie and Shauna, because there is a lot going on there for the two of them. Because Callie seems to represent three things for Shauna. A child, reminiscent of the wilderness baby that she lost. She also represents Jackie, and in a way represents herself. Callie is sort of a mix of her three nightmares, and she has to raise this person for her entire life. Obviously, there's the resemblance to Jackie and her wearing the cheerleader uniform. Obviously, Callie is Shauna's child, and she has a history with losing children or not feeling able to take care of her children. And, of course, because Callie is Shauna's daughter, they are quite similar. They look quite similar. They act quite similar. And Callie seems to have a little bit of that deep sort of insanity that Shauna seems to have. I don't mean to call Shauna insane, but in season 1, she was quite eager to become the butcher, and she seemed oddly comfortable with that knife. So I don't think it's too far to say that maybe Shauna had a little something off with her before the crash. And it seems that Callie is sort of following suit. She's acting quite erratic, and not erratic, that's not the word I want to use, but she is being quite bold and aggressive and cunning and manipulative, very reminiscent of Shauna Shipman. So in a way, Callie is sort of becoming her mother. And it seems like Shauna has tried to keep Callie away from everything that happened with her in the wilderness for her entire life. So the idea of Callie ending up wrapped into it and being hurt by it is extremely interesting. So far, she's the only one who has seen almost exactly what has went down in the woods. She obviously wasn't in the woods with them, but in season 2, she watched the girls in the 2021 timeline wearing the masks and chanting and pulling cards and chasing people around with knives to kill them, which is more than anyone has ever seen that wasn't in the woods with them. So in a way, Callie is the closest person to the wilderness that isn't a yellow jacket, which is quite interesting to me. So the theory of Callie ending up accidentally wrapped up in the wilderness and then getting killed by the wilderness is honestly reminiscent, again, of Wilderness Baby and Jackie, because the wilderness killed Jackie, the wilderness killed the child, and in a dark, twisted way, in Shauna's mind, she is also responsible for the deaths of the both of them. So if she ends up responsible for the death of Callie, that would just be a such brutal, dark, full circle moment. But whoever Pit Girl is doesn't matter as much as Mari's connection to this scene and Pit Girl herself. I don't know exactly what yet, because the season isn't out, obviously, but there is some connection between Pit Girl and Mari. Whoever that is, there is some connection or mirror or parallel between her and Mari, because this is very purposeful, it's very direct, it's very clearly mirroring the Pit Girl scene. But something I noticed in this trailer is, historically when we see the Yellowjackets chasing someone to kill and murder them, they are quite loud, they're howling, they're whooping, they have knives and weapons, and they are aggressive. But in this scene in the trailer, the girls don't seem to be running as aggressively as they usually are when they are chasing someone, like in Doomcoming, for example. That clip specifically feels more reminiscent of when they found the lake. It feels much more joyous and jovial. So clipping together these two clips of the girls running and then Mari running, possibly looking for something, possibly running away from someone, is very interesting. I think we are supposed to make a connection between Mari and Pit Girl, because they are very clearly showing Mari being chased through the wilderness, or trying to make us think that that's what's happening. I don't understand what the connection is just yet, but there is a connection. This clip is just Misty in the mask. We already know that this is Misty based on the pilot, but I want to point out in the background there are what seems to be like some kind of huts, which is really interesting. You can see bits and pieces of the huts later in this trailer, and it was leaked earlier. I think it was Samantha Handwriting herself actually posted a photo of behind the scenes. You could see huts in the background, which is quite funny. There have been a good amount of leaks for this season before it's even been released, before this trailer even came out. There were a good amount of leaks. The funniest one, I think, is when the dog actor who played, I forgot the dog's name, but the dog actor on the show posted a picture on its Instagram, and in the background was a wall of a bunch of photos of actors with their character names under it, and it leaked a couple new characters that we had not seen. I'm not gonna say exactly what because I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen the leak, but if you have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Can't believe we didn't eat that first.
Gosh, okay. We have Shauna being insane as usual. She is still wearing Jackie's disgusting shirt. That shirt was white in season 1, and I know all their clothes are dingy, but like I worry that she's never gonna take it off. I know for a fact she's never going to take that off. She's never gonna take off Jackie's shirt. She's never gonna let her rest. And we also have Melissa here. Melissa is a character that barely existed in the first 2 seasons, but as you'll see later in this trailer, I do think that she is going to become a more important character. There's one specific thing that is really making me think that. Okay, we have the girls buzzing here, which is quite sweet. We haven't seen them be like really excited and happy for a while. I just noticed they're in a ring of stones. I actually didn't notice that at first. Maybe they're like playing soccer or something. Maybe they're like different teams and the rock circle is the goal and they were playing soccer. I've seen jokes online about people saying that the Yellowjackets are gonna play soccer with Ben's head. And that would be hilarious, actually. I really hope that's true. It's probably not, but that would be very funny. But the girls buzzing, very nice. I'm trying to see who this is. I think I see Misty, Akilah, Van's back there. I can't see who that other person is. Oh, Mari. Akilah, Van, Mari, Misty, and this person in the orange shirt who I've never seen before. I think we're getting, I feel like we're always getting new characters, but we're getting a new character, a new side character introduced, because the side character is usually like in the back or shown for maybe 0.2 seconds, but she's in the circle buzzing with main characters, with Van and Misty, and also Akilah and Mari. They're like more side characters, but still pretty important and like loved characters by the fandom, and she's right in here with them, so it'll be nice to meet her in season 3. Nat is in the foreground, quite blurry. I can't really see her face. I can't tell exactly what her emotion is about this buzz thing that's going on. She looks either annoyed or angry, one of the two, or she's completely not. I can't tell. It's blurry.
I want to know what.
This clip of Ben zooming in to a noose hanging, I don't know, it looks kind of small. I can't tell if that's like a trap or if the Yellowjackets are planning to hang him or if he's planning to hang himself. But all I know 100% about this season is that Ben is not going to have a good time. Guaranteed. The only thing I am 100% sure of is that Ben is not going to be okay. He is going to have the worst time of his life.
I want to know what happened out there.
Callie asking Shauna what happened out there. Again, there's so much with Callie and Shauna this season. I think Callie has become a pretty big character in season 2, but I think based on something that happens later in this trailer, I think she's going to become an even bigger character this season. She seems to be becoming quite important in the plot, which is nice. I do really like Callie as a character. She's quite fun. So I'm excited to see more of her this season. But I'm anxious to know what exactly Shauna tells Callie, because she can't tell her everything. She's not going to. I know she won't. She's gonna lie about something somehow. I don't know what specifically, but she's gonna lie or flub the truth or something.
This place.
Jackie in the meat freezer, or just giant industrial freezer. Best, I think my favorite frame of this entire trailer. God, Ella Purnell's back. Let's go. Jackie sitting in this freezer. Her hair is brown now, and she has frost in her hair, on her shoulders. I'm so glad Ghost Jackie is back. I love the fact that Jackie is just never going away. Shauna's just never going to let her rest. She will be alive, even in her mind, for years after she has passed. Jackie will never get any rest, never. It's like heartbreaking, but it makes for great TV. So I cannot remember where, but I know I saw somebody, I believe it was maybe on Twitter or Tumblr or something, who said that Jackie's hair being this dark brown color, which we've never seen her hair look like before, could be possibly an indicator that Shauna is sort of slowly forgetting what Jackie looks like over the years, which is devastating. Her image of her best friend is slowly fading into someone unrecognizable, just a cold, dead girl with maybe some vague resemblance to Jackie. Maybe in season 5, Ella Purnell won't even be there, or just be a different actress. And Shauna's just almost completely forgotten what Jackie looks like. That would be heartbreaking. But this conversation in the industrial freezer, I think, is going to be so interesting. You can see on Shauna's face right here in this frame, she doesn't look like scared. She just looks sad. She just looks really sad. I don't know what exactly Jackie's saying to her, but she looks really sad. It's Shauna, she worries me. She really worries me.
Will follow us the rest of.
Oh my god, man with no eyes. The man with no eyes, I genuinely don't know what to do with him. Like, I don't understand what he is and what he's doing and what his purpose is in this story. It's not a critique, like, it's not a bad thing. I just genuinely don't understand. I'm excited to find out, but he's just a puzzle piece that I don't quite see where he fits. Like, other hanging threads or mysteries in Yellowjackets, I have ideas of what they could be about, but the man with no eyes, I have nothing. I have no idea what to say about him. I know he is some hallucination, possibly ghost, maybe, likely hallucination that Taissa is seeing often. And when she's sleepwalking and like other Tai takes over, she wanted to follow and find the man with the I almost said the man with the yellow eyes. That's supernatural. The man with the yellow eyes is supernatural. The man with no eyes is Yellowjackets. Jesus. But yeah, no, sleepwalking Tai wanted to follow the man with no eyes because she thought he was leading her somewhere. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to do with this guy. In my head, he's either a ghost or a hallucination, because either he's a ghost that has been following the Turner family for generations, because, her grandmother said something about her eyes being taken.
Is the angel here?
Don't you come over here. I mean it. Stay away.
Who?
That man with no eyes. Don't let him take me. Don't let him take my eyes.
But it also could very well be a hallucination, and this is sort of the way Taissa's brain imagined this figure that her grandmother claimed to be seeing on her deathbed. But I don't know what to make of this guy. I don't know. He seems cool, I guess. I have nothing to say about this man.
Our lives.
This is so minor. It's basically nothing, but I just want to appreciate Thais's jean jacket here. It looks very cool. Like the patterns down the sleeves and everything. And her hair is so... I love her hair. I love Thaisa Turner. Thaisa, I love you. That's all I have to say. All I have to say is I love Thaisa. Let's move on. Okay, we have this clip of the girls with a bunch of candles standing on... I can't... It's so dark. Everything's so dark in this show. I can't tell exactly what's happening. But I don't... One thing about Yellowjackets, aside from all of these mysteries and the deaths and the ghosts and the, is it supernatural, is it not? One thing I need an answer to is where they get all of their stuff. Because there is... Even during Doomcoming, the crafts, they were so good. Like, they're so talented. Like, Thaisa's masks she made for her and Van that were, like, fully leather and, like, gorgeous. Like, how many belts did she slice up to make those? Truly. They're so crafty and they have so many materials. Also, something that's worrying me is it looks like Shauna has a staff of some kind, and I don't love that. The idea of Shauna at this point, after everything she's done, everything she's gone through, Shauna in this mental state at this point being in a position of power is worrying to me. I fear she's going to lead them down a terrible path. They've already gone down a terrible path. I worry she's just going to make everything worse. It looks like they're praying or summoning something. I can't tell what's going on here. I see most of the Yellowjackets girls, but what's interesting, the one person you would expect to be in a situation like this is Lottie. Maybe it's just because the scene is dark and I can't like quite see everything, but I don't see Lottie here, which is very interesting to me. If there was any character who I would expect to be at some kind of candlelight spooky meeting like this in the middle of the woods at night, it would be Lottie Matthews, but she's not here. So, I mean, she has stepped down from her leadership position, and, Nat has been appointed at the end of season 2, but it seems like this would be something where she would at least be leading it, but Shauna has the staff, and she's nowhere to be seen.
You hearing this? What is happening?
Okay, so we have Nat exploring something, and then Ben losing his mind. My only guess as to what this location could be, because so far we haven't seen many, like, wet, damp, dark places in Yellowjackets. The only place this could be is that cave where Javi escaped to. That's the only place it could possibly be. Or maybe Ben found somewhere else to hide after the cabin burned down.
Someone?
Okay, this scene with the... I'm going to say a girl. You'll understand why in a bit. This girl picking up a letter that says Shauna Shipman. I remember when this trailer first came out, online people were trying to figure out who this was. And I remember it was a fight between whether this was Sophie Nélisse or Sarah... Oh, I forgot her last name. The actress who plays Callie, though. Sarah something. Basically, they were trying to figure out whether this person was Teen Shauna or Callie Sadecki. Okay, so my camera died. My camera is dead. It died in the middle of shooting. But I'm still gonna keep recording. But you just won't see my face anymore. What was I talking about? Yes, Melanie Linsky. I was talking about how for some stupid reason, I was convinced that this person in this shot was Melanie Linsky. Looking at it now, it is so clearly Callie, but I was so convinced it was gonna be adult Shauna for some reason. Anyway, Callie being the one to grab this Shauna Shipman letter with like the symbol in the corner is again another thing that sort of suggests to me that Callie is going to play a much bigger part in the season, which I'm quite excited about. As I said before, I really like Callie.
Someone wants to kill us.
Oh, Shauna saying someone wants to kill us. And that was put obviously right after the scene where Callie grabs that letter. Someone is trying to murder Shauna and a group of people. But why though is the real question. I think if it's the Yellowjackets, I think the only reason someone would want to kill them, maybe it's someone that, like a survivor who wants, like, retribution for something that happened to them in the wilderness. I have no idea. Let's see, this next clip, we have Misty sleuthing, as usual. Misty seems to be going on her like, solo detective arc this season, which I'm very excited for. Good for her.
The only people that
Off the bat, there's a lot to talk about in this clip. The first thing I just need to mention is, again, the, like, cloak things they have. That's crazy that they just made that. What materials? Anyway, but notably, the biggest thing to me in this clip is the fact that Lottie is in the middle of this, like, I don't know, cult-looking chant circle, as you would expect, but she looks, like, quite sad. It looks like she doesn't really want to be here, which is confusing. What we've seen from Lottie so far is that she is a, not servant, disciple. That's not the exact word I want to use, but I'm going to go with it. A disciple of the wilderness. She's spreading the good word of the wilderness and saying this is what we need to do. She is sort of their spiritual leader, their spiritual guru. And so Lottie being in the middle of this circle and looking like she doesn't want to be there is quite interesting to me. Maybe she's kind of getting usurped by the wilderness. Maybe they're like, the wilderness wants us to do this, so sorry, Lottie, you have no power anymore. Or maybe, you know, maybe this is what she meant by putting Nat in charge. Maybe she wanted Nat to be their spirit, their messiah, instead of her. But they just wouldn't let go until they forced Lottie to keep being their centerpiece. I don't know. We'll see. But again, she wasn't part of that candle thing, and she seems not interested in this. So Lottie's role is she either doesn't want it anymore, or someone is trying to take it away from her. I do sense that in this season, power dynamics will be rapidly shifting.
the only people that know about this are either us or dead.
After this trailer came out, I believe it was Twitter, I saw someone point out that this, like, location that Misty is investigating looks a lot like that dark basement boiler room thing that Lottie hallucinated all the way back in season 1. Dreaming of being in a real place that Misty is then investigating, meaning that there is something there, it feels like a brand new thing to me.
You're not in charge anymore.
Okay, this clip of the thing going down on the log, there's a lot to talk about here. We'll start with the background. We have, obviously, Ben with that, like, giant bushy beard and the yellow polo, sitting next to who I can only assume is Misty. There seem to be a couple more people maybe sitting behind them in the background, but in the foreground, we have this sort of, again, well-crafted, like, makeshift hammer gavel thing, which I'm predicting, I stole some of these ideas from the internet, but this idea that Ben is going to be put on trial, possibly for burning down the cabin, possibly for something else, I don't know, but it seems like they are going to punish Ben for something. My guess is that the girls are going to assume that Ben burnt down the cabin and then put him on trial, and Misty's going to be his lawyer. I hope that's true. That's one of the things that I really hope is true, that Ben is put on trial and Misty is his lawyer, because that's so funny.
You're not in charge anymore.
Shauna walking up to Nat with this deranged look in her eye. Now, I did talk about I think power structures are going to shift a lot. This is just, it's so direct. Fully, Natalie, you are not in charge anymore. And she was kind of just appointed leader. Again, like I said before, Shauna seems to be Shauna seems to be in a position of power in this season, which is worrying me, because they seem to be getting much more unhinged, and with Shauna as their leader, I fear that it's not going to go well. But also, look, we got there's the huts in the background, which are cute. They're cute little huts. And also, number one, the most important thing about this scene, Akilah and Taissa in the background look amazing. Taissa's hair, obviously, Akilah's hair looks so good. The bandana thing she's wearing, gorgeous. And that's all that really matters. Oh, and Natalie's headband is quite sick. And Shauna's wearing a flannel, as usual. Number one, the very obvious symbolism of Misty literally stabbing Shauna in the back. Maybe the Yellowjackets, I don't know, did something against her, maybe without her. Maybe she was left out of something and she's trying to get them back for it. Maybe Misty's the one trying to kill them. I don't think they would kill Shauna Shipman. And even if they did, they wouldn't show it in the trailer. So either this is a fake out and Misty's, I don't know, stabbing something else. Like something next to her. I don't know. Or this is like an imagination scene. Like she's picturing herself stabbing Shauna, but she's not actually doing that in reality, which is more likely. But also a little detail I just noticed, Shauna is wearing the same thing she was wearing in the meat freezer scene. So I guess this is the place. There's not much to talk about here, except for Misty's adorable little dinosaur watch. Look at that. That's so cute. Actually, one thing I think someone on Twitter pointed out is that this like giant thing she's wearing looks like she's wearing one of the airplane seats. And I really hope that's true, because that's so funny. No, we've got Taissa in the most insane outfit. The most insane, like, Dune, Star Wars type outfit with a gun. Because Taissa Turner deserves a gun. She should have had a gun season 1. I just noticed. This is a completely different gun. They have a second gun. They have 2 guns now. This is the clip I need to talk about. Van looking at this fire. This is obviously like after their time in the wilderness because she has the scars. But if you look in the background, this looks like an actual home. I mean, the windows have like actual curtains. There's like a couch in the back, it looks like. This looks like a real home. The fire she's looking at is in a fireplace. It feels kind of unlikely that they would find a well-furbished house like this randomly out in the Canadian wilderness. What I would honestly really just like this to be is a post-rescue scene. And there's a ton of Van and fire symbolism. She almost got burned alive when the plane first crashed, and then she got burned alive again after she got eaten by a wolf. And now we have this. And then the next clip, in Van's eyes is fire, not just any fire, it's also the tip of a match. I am 1,000% sure, Van is the one that burnt down the cabin. Why? I have no idea. Ben does seem the most likely, but based on this, it's gotta be Van. I mean, unless she lights a match a different time and burn something else down. I feel like it's so likely that Van is the one that burned the cabin down, which is so cool. Van is such a cool character. I want more of her. Oh, of course, amazing. So we have scenes back to back. We have Shauna putting a knife to Melissa's throat, and then right after, we have Shauna biting down on Mari's hand. Shauna Shipman is a force to be reckoned with, and she seems about to murder Melissa, which is another thing that makes me think Melissa's going to be a more important character this season. Shauna biting down on Mari's hand, I genuinely have no idea what that could be about. Lottie being choked on the ground by a hand, who, when this trailer first came out, there was some discussion over whose hand this was. The main suspects were either Shauna or Travis. And looking at it now, I think it's Travis. I'm pretty positive that's Travis, because in season 2, we learned that Travis asked Lottie to try and get him to, like, the point of almost dying And maybe this is where that idea originated from. Maybe Lottie was like, hey, Travis, can you choke me so I can almost die and communicate with the wilderness? Oh, of course, we have Mari being shoved into the floor. Of course. Mari's really going through it this season. I think Mari, Melissa, and Ben, it's over for them.
Oh. Everything will be okay.
Oh, and then we have the bane of my existence, which is this scene of Hilary Swank getting out of her black minivan, all like bloody and bruised, and running away from someone. You know, what I've been talking about Melissa becoming more important in the story. There is a real possibility that Hilary Swank is playing adult Melissa. And this isn't the bane of my existence because I hate Hilary Swank or I hate Melissa, but it's just because I just really like Akilah, and I really hope Akilah survives. And if Melissa is a survivor, that leaves less room and less likelihood for Akilah to be one. But that's the end of the trailer. It ends with Hilary Swank, which is wild. Hilary Swank is joining the cast. Also Joel McHale, which I'm excited for. I really hope he just plays Jeff Winger. It is likely, though, that Joel McHale is playing an older version of Paul, Ben's boyfriend. I'm quite excited for this new season. I think it's going to be so good. The cast has talked about like what this new season is going to be. They said a lot of gore and a lot of gay. So I'm very excited. I love the show. If you're still watching, thanks, I guess. This was just me rambling for however long this ends up being. But thanks for watching. Leave any comments of anything you think, and I will read them all and respond because I am insane about this show. But thank you for being here. See you in the next one, maybe.